You could stand in the middle of a problem and say, oh, wait. I remember Abraham said, if I'm standing in the middle of a problem, the solution is already there. So good to know. It's already there. Instead of saying, where is it? I can't find it. I don't know where it is. I've been here so long. I'm unhappy about being here. I'm afraid. I'm disappointed. I don't deserve this. What has gone wrong in my life experience? This problem should not be mine. I don't want it, but I've got it. Will you help me? I'm afraid. And we say, as you beat the drum of where you are in your problem, you hold yourself vibrationally out of earshot, out of feel shot, out of the feeling place of what's going on, the solution that's already present tense over here in this vortex of creation. So all day today, you're going to hear us. You're going to talk about a lot of things, and we're going to give you one eventually very boring answer. Go to the vortex, 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 until eventually we'll break you down and someone will scream from the back row, how do we get in the vortex? And we want you to understand that the vortex is a vibrational state of being that you feel your way to. And the way you go to the vortex is by reaching for the feeling of what the vortex feels like. So we're just going to tell you what the vortex feels like. The vortex feels like this place of well-being, where a feeling of well-being, a feeling of stamina, a feeling of vitality. It's that fresh feeling. Jerry and Esther watched a little girl in a campground in Boston the other day. She was running alongside her big sister who was on a bicycle. And this little girl, 3-4 years old maybe, her ponytail bouncing and her little shoes lighting up with every step she took. She was so in love with life on this beautiful fall day, bouncing through this campground, so vividly glad to be alive. And as Jerry and Esther watched her, the street went round this group of vehicles that was parked. Did you see Jerry and Esther's monster bus in the parking lot? It was parked there in a big space area. And as this little girl ran around and around and around and around, Esther ran from window to 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 window. Esther couldn't take her eyes off this little girl who was in the vortex. Everything about her was vivid and alive. Esther wanted to just put everything she was doing on hold and just get on her own bicycle and spend the day with these kids. It was so obvious that there was not a problem anywhere near activation in her little vibration in that moment. She was so tuned in to the whole of who she is. And Jerry and Esther said, she's in the vortex. She's so in the vortex. And we want to say to you, why was she in the vortex? Get ready for it. It's profound, because she wasn't out of the vortex. Now that was better than you know. Because what we're saying to you is, you'll be in the vortex unless you do that thing that doesn't let you in. In other words, you can be in the vortex and find some negative thought, and the vortex will spit you right out. Because vibrations have to match up. Law of attraction will not allow you to be in a vibration of well-being and in a vibration of worry at the same time. So you've got to lean in the direction of the vortex. You've got to get in there every now and again, even by accident. In other words, by accident we mean not deliberately focusing yourself there, by observation. You're really good at that in your physical form. Do you know that most of the vibration that you offer is because of what you are observing? So here's Esther and Jerry in their monster bus in this campground on this beautiful day. And what do they have? The delicious benefit of being able to observe someone so in the vortex that as soon as they laid their eyes on her, they did not want to take their eyes off of her. And because she spun her web around them, around and 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 around she went, holding them for way more than 68 seconds in captivation of focused upon this joyful little child. Right into the vortex they went. Now, here's the thing that we want you to hear. This vortex is calling you always, calling you always. And it's a powerful call. You have to do some really strident, often chronic thought that holds you out of the vortex for the vortex to not take you in. Do you know where the doorway to this vortex is on this emotional scale that we've been talking to you about? Where joy and empowerment is on one end, and where depression and disempowerment is on the other end, and then all of the emotions in between. There's depression, and then there is revenge, and then there is anger, and then less anger, and overwhelmment and frustration. And pretty soon you get into this place of more optimism or hope. When you reach the vibrational attitude, the emotional attitude of hope, that doorway to the vortex is between hope and believing. So if you're hanging around in the vicinity of hope, that vortex will take you in. And when the vortex takes you in, now what you couldn't see when you were not in the vortex, you now can see from inside the vortex. In other words, what we want you to understand is you're going to feel your way in because you can't see your way in. You may have been hearing us say, we've been saying it for a long time, that when you want something and you talk about why you want it, there's less resistance in why you want it than in how you're going to get it, when it's going to come, who's going to bring it, how long is it going to take, where's it going to be. In other words, those questions to which you don't know answers cause you to stay outside the vortex, because it's aggravating the problem or the absence of what is wanted. We're always calling you into the vortex. We're always calling you forward into that which you really are. And unless you are doing that thing, you'll come easily. And as you allow yourself vibrationally to move into the vibrational proximity of this vortex, what begins to happen to you is you begin to practice the vibration of alignment. You begin to practice the vibration of allowing. You know, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. It's just a habit of thought. So if you've got habits of thoughts about unwanted things, Esther will say, well, Abraham, it's true. It's true. As if that is a good criteria to give your attention to something. And we say there are a lot of true things that are very far away from who you are and what you want. And there are a lot of true things, like this little girl bouncing around the campground, who is a perfect match to who you are and what you want. So we have two primary encouragements to any of you who want to live the joyful life that you came to live, and that's all of you. The first is, understand the existence of this vibrational reality and accept it as present tense, and do your best to move in the direction of it with every thought, word, and action. The second is, if you will look for things to appreciate where you are, become a better selective sifter. Decide that you're going to tune yourself to the frequency of all that you have become. And that's the thing that we really want you to understand. This is the thing that sometimes is hard to understand. Your life is causing you to expand. And the only thing that will ever cause you to have negative emotion is you not taking the expansion.